This is the Amp Hour Podcast, recorded June 17th, 2012. Episode 100. Bonkers, Birthday, Badinage.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Chris Gamble's Analog Life. We made it!
Triple digits!
They said it couldn't be done, but we did it.
Who's they, the bastards?
You know.
Us?
Oh, yeah, us. That was us.
Right. When we first started this.
Yeah, we'll never make it to 100.
Ridiculous show. 100 what?
I'll say it right now. We'll never make it to 1,000.
Right.
We're no car talk.
Right, yes. Your favourite podcast has...
yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, they're gone. Jeez, they were just around for a few months and then buggered off. A few decades, more like it.
Yeah, they were around 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah, oh my God. If I'm still talking to Dave in 30 years,
Holy crap.
I figured out the secret of not pissing him off.
Oh, man. It is. It's the 100th episode.
Yes, and we have done nothing. We didn't prepare much for this. I don't know.
Oh, right. No, that's right. Sorry. No, we've got no super-duper special guests. We've got no live marching bands and...
No, the only special thing is we don't have a guest. It's just going to be us talking. We haven't done that. I mean, we've had guests on and off for a while, and yeah.
No, we just decided to turn up and keep doing it. So there you go. That's the.
Yep. We'll stop when we hit 1,000 or something.
Oh boy, and we haven't missed one.
Not yet. No, thanks to Jeff Kaiser of MightyOhm.com. He's always filled in for us and
filled in for when we're either myself or you aren't here, and we haven't missed a single week. We have punched out an episode each week for a year.
Consistency is key. It is very
not for a
important
year.
in
It's
podcasting.
almost 2 years, isn't it? 54 weeks is. Sorry, hang on.
52 weeks.
52 weeks. Yes, so there's
52 weeks in a year, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And we're almost there. We're at 104 would be 2 years,
104
right?
would be 2 years. That's right.
Yeah, in August.
Wow.
Or something. Yep.
We've occasionally moved the day and stuff like that, but have we progressively moved it so we've skipped a week, perhaps, like if we, let's delay it by a day and then maybe, it'd be interesting to review the date that we posted the first one on last time. And
Yeah.
who cares?
Yeah. But
yay for us.
It's been a good run. So thank you. First off, thank you to everyone who's listening. We really appreciate it. We got, compared to day one of when we started, we're probably, 10 times the size now. So thank you for everyone who told friends. Please keep telling friends. Thank you to our wonderful donors. You have enabled us to more stuff, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
We will.
And thanks to you, Dave. Thanks for still showing up.
And yourself as well.
All right.
Let's
And you even
pat
showed
ourselves
up
on the
today. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you even showed up today, the day after your birthday. Is it day after? 2 days after? Recently.
I won't say. I recently had a birthday. Yes.
Yeah.
And you'll see my birthday cake.
Yes.
It's very cool.
It is
It's
very
a
cool. It's
friend
very
of
nerdy.
mine, made it for me. She makes custom birthday cakes.
Are you going to tell people what it is, or do they have to wait?
No, they'll probably see it before they even start. It'll pop up as on their. It'll pop up on the show notes. A photo. Of the
Okay. So we are going to
birthday cake. It's a custom Fluke multimeter.
Yes, it's amazing.
It's very cool. Custom and I've got a video. I shot a little video, so there'll be a quick, 30-second, 1 minute video popping up very shortly. I might edit it after this, and it's very cool.
Very awesome.
So thank you very much, Josie. She makes custom cakes. I think she should actually do it for a living, but no, it's just a part-time thing for her.
Well, that's great. It's a great cake. I'm sure all Aussies in the area will want to, have their own multimeter cake or oscilloscope cake or any other piece of gear that might be able to be made into
anyone beat it?
delectable.
Because I googled photos and I have not seen a better one. So can anyone beat that my Fluke 87 cake in terms of coolness for an electronics nerd cake? And what cake would you have if you? I
don't even know. I think an oscilloscope cake would
you
be
have
cool.
A gigantic diode? Or, it
maybe
would
a solar panel. Right?
Yeah, I thought about it, but then it didn't really make sense because it would have to be lying flat, right? So the knobs don't fall off and everything, and it just wasn't really the right orientation. And I thought it'd be a bit lame if it was just lying flat. It's not like you can tilt it up. It's got like a little tilting bail on it, and that'd be very impressive.
It would be. You'd have to put it underneath the kick pan or something.
Yeah, and of course it was harder. It's got more knobs and all that, some buttons and text and all that sort of stuff. So I thought the multimeter would be easier. I'm sure it wasn't an easy job to do though. I mean,
no,
and it tasted good too, by the way.
Oh, yeah? What kind of internals was it?
It was just a sponge. It was a sponge cake with really thick icing to actually hold the thing together to generate the,
nice.
Holster, to generate the yellow Fluke rubber holster.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Oh, boy. So, I hope a photo of that goes viral, I hope it gets out there, spreads around.
Nerdcake.com. Someone go grab that one now.
Right.
Just tell your cake friend to go grab that. That'd be a good promo.
Possibly. There you go. So yes, I was very pleased with that. That was awesome.
Well, happy birthday and many happy returns to you, my friend.
Thank you very much. Another year older.
Yeah, just like the show.
Just starting to break down.
Time marches on.
No.
Time marches on.
Sad. Anyway, what have we got on today's show? The 100th episode.
Yeah, 100th episode. We should talk about some of the
deal,
some of the new features. Well, feature really. This is the only big thing. I mean, we moved servers recently.
Yes,
people might have seen that
on Friday
on the site, right? So we finally moved over. Thanks to our wonderful donors, we were able to get a VPS, virtual private server. So now we're running on that. We're the only thing on the IP address, so it should load a little bit faster. It should be a little more responsive on the site.
It shouldn't ever freeze up, basically. It shouldn't, be overloaded by some other, website on the shared server or something like that. So it should be available 24/7 for everyone.
Right, because it's interesting if you look at shared IP addresses, you can actually look up the one that you're on, and see who else is on your server, and it's a sizable amount. It's only the ones that people put in the search engines that do it. They do a reverse lookup, but it was pretty amazing. It's probably 1,000 to 2,000 other websites, so that can really start to affect things.
It's crazy. So, I noticed the instant difference once I moved to the dedicated server, for my forum, And it's just been, the speed difference is just phenomenal, because you've got that box, although we're not on a fully dedicated server, we're on a VPS, which does mean we still share it, but we get a guaranteed equal share of that box, and there might only be 5 other people on there, and we're guaranteed to buy a slice, So
right, and you pay for what you get, basically. That's kind of the idea with that. So
that's right.
Either way, it's been a good fit for us, and we can easily grow, as we get more listeners.
From our current 5,000, I wonder what it'd be like at episode 200. Will we have double the amount of? Has it been? Have you been checking the growth? Is it linear?
I have not been checking, at least not plotting it. I look every once in a while, but I don't.
Well, we don't really have an easy graph of that, do we? Of actually number of listeners, subscribers, as I do on my channel,
Right.
It actually generates all that for me.
Right.
But we think we have about 5,000.
About 5,000. Yeah, we get about 5,000 regular listeners. So that's really humbling. It's really cool that there's 5,000 people out there that want to listen to us yammer on. So
the biggest electronics show on the planet, folks, bar none.
That's
we
right.
are number one
That's right.
by attrition, probably. There's no other shows, are there? I don't know.
Not
There's the
anymore,
odd show
no.
around. No, I think they're all dead. Because they just couldn't compete with our awesomeness.
Well, I don't know about that, but consistency. And
That's the
so,
key.
speaking of 5,000, the other thing we were focusing on is we want to try and increase the sense of community at the Amp Hour. We want you guys to talk to one another as well. So the other thing we were doing, I was calling it a forum, but there was some initial resistance to that. So we're just calling it a discussion server. And if you go to the homepage, there's actually a link called Discuss, and up at the top on the little Post-it note looking thingies. And you can click on that. That'll take you over to the discussion server. Login is super easy. You don't have to put in an email if you don't want to. You can just put in your username, whatever username you want, and you can instantly start posting. Dave, you said it was a little simplistic for your taste, right?
It's very simplistic because I've been using BBSs for 30 years. When you had to dial your own phone number. And that's with a rotary dial phone.
Yeah, you had to know which one number to call too, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just it's foreign to me because I'm not a big fan of the Reddit kind of style of thing. And is this based on the Reddit engine or what? Is it?
It's based on the engine that runs Hacker News, which is
news.y
Combinator. Y Combinator is one of the startup accelerators.
Right.
And they actually have a site that allows you to discuss everything, and you can post links if you want to. But I think, from my experience with Reddit, my experience with Hacker News, the thing that I really like is like the way it allows you to respond to people in a really simple manner. And it's really simple. It's going to be shockingly simple if you've never seen it before.
If you're used to a BBS forum, you're going to go, what the frig is this,
Yeah. We've already had some people say that. And it's different. And it's going to stay different. It's just, we're trying it out. We're going to try it for a couple months. But, give it a shot. And it could be a good way. We're hoping to, allow people to network with one another, talk to each other, discuss electronics, discuss the show if they want to. But really, it's an open thing. And I liken it, because it is like a wall of text, I kind of liken the difference between like if a BBS or like Dave's type of forum, the EV blog forum is, if that's like Outlook with like folders and everything else like that, I think of that like Outlook, and I think of this like Gmail. And so it's a little different, but it's fast.
It's almost like an email list.
Yeah, well, yeah,
one of those email list things where you just get, the summary of the day's posts, and they're all there.
Oh, I've never done that. You mean okay. like a mailing list, right?
Yes, yeah, one of those mailing list servers or whatever. But,
yeah, I guess so.
So, how does this work? Does the latest one always appear at the top? So, if you post something, your thing will automatically appear at the top of the list, or because you can rate stuff, right? You can rate comments, can't you?
Right. You can also upvote, certain threads. You can upvote, links if people post links, or you can upvote specific comments within discussions.
So what goes to the top? What actually gravitates towards the top? Is it the one with the most votes? Is it the one with the
right? Yeah.
Is it the newest one? Is it the one with the most comments?
It's the one with the most votes. I think, and then it's like it has some division by the amount of time it's been on there. So as the days go on, it starts to move down the list basically, right. And that's another nice thing too. It keeps it fresh, and if people keep commenting on it and upvoting it, then it'll stay at the top. So
got it.
It'll be cool. And like we've said, me and Dave were talking about this too, and some people will be very against it, and that's okay. We're hoping not. We'll hope people give it a try, but people that are against it, there is always the EV blog forum, and there's a lot of other great forums out there as well. And I mean, EV blog forum, I'm a member of. It's an awesome forum too. So, there's a lot of options. So this is just something different, but we really just want the listeners of the Amp Hour to, get to know each other and discuss stuff on there. So if they do, they do. If they don't, failed experiment. We'll try something else.
And it was all Chris's idea, folks.
It was, yeah.
Just wanted to say that.
Throwing me under the bus. Yeah, just throwing me under the bus. That's cool.
What a co-host for.
Uh-huh, yeah.
But, I it kind of almost didn't make sense to have another BBS-style, simple machines forum on the Amp Hour as well. It kind of, I think we both agreed, didn't we, that kind of didn't make sense because we already have the established forum on my side. So,
yeah.
It was, so it always made sense to go with something different than the regular BBS style forum.
Yeah. So it'll be different. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah. Tell us, please. If you do prefer the BBS style forum, let us know. And if we get enough,
I don't want to know.
Right. Okay.
I really don't want to know.
Only post if you agree with Chris.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, I mean, the discussion's okay, but if it's all like, this is different,
Oh, boy. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, what else we got for this week? We got we got a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I noticed something the other week. It popped up somewhere, probably on a forum somewhere, and these little Miroslav Bajtek, he's one of my viewers, and he sent me a thing for my mailbag segment. As a matter of fact, he has done these little stickers that I think this is a really cool idea, although I don't think it's new. I think it's been done before by several other people. This is the first time I've seen it, so work with me. It's a sticker which you put over a dip package part that actually has the pinouts on it. So if you've got like an Atmel microcontroller and it's a 40-pin dip, you stick this, you buy this, vinyl sticker and you stick it on top of the chip, and you have the pinout and the info and the name of the register, right there on top of the chip.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
That's crazy.
Why can't
That's
every
awesome.
dip chip come with this?
Yeah, it does, especially dip, because any smaller than that.
Exactly, because you're using it on breadboard. But, you could also put it on a large quad flat pack with a big pitch or something. Maybe. I don't know. The font would be really small, but it's better than not having it.
If you've got a high enough resolution printer, you could do it, right?
Yeah. I mean,
that's bonkers.
It's better than not having it. It's great.
Yeah.
And it's all color-coded and everything. So, excellent work, Miroslav.
Yeah, I like that.
He's from Prague in the Czech Republic, if you want to know.
That's cool.
He sent me a very nice postcard. You can see it in my mailbag video.
Yeah, I've been liking those. I like those videos. They're fun.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
So does everyone else, apparently. I don't know why.
I'm going to just start sending you random shit, I think. I think that's what you really got to start doing, is start a concerted effort to just, send you like snakes in a can kind of thing.
Right,
Not snakes on a plane,
okay.
right? But snakes, like peanut cans with...
Well, I haven't received anything stupid like that yet. I've always received something practical. It was someone has a kit. But it neatly solves the problem of people who want to advertise their stuff on my blog, right? Or they want me to review something. It's like, well, I always get million requests to review, people's latest project, and this is just sort of a way to do it, a way to leverage my audience for, and my audience enjoy it as well. So if you send your kit or your little widget or something to me and I open on the mailbag, your links there, and people will visit your website and maybe you'll sell a few. So everyone
hopefully
wins.
they're part of the EEV blog community as well, and kind of pays back to that. It seems like that's been a lot of them. It hasn't been as many commercial stuff so much as people that are part of the community, which is cool.
They're part of the community and they've manufactured some little kit, and they're it's great. I like it.
Definitely.
So it works. Going to continue to do that.
Yeah, cool.
Because it gets more bloody views than my tutorials do. Everyone's crapping on. We want more tutorials, but no, I get more views for the bloody me opening my mail. Go figure. What's the world coming to?
Imagine what you could get if you were like, frying an egg or
frying an egg or sitting on the can,
reading
a
newspaper. Yeah.
Dave reading a newspaper on the can. Yeah.
I would not watch that, I have to say.
Oh boy, I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm going to have my. It looks like I'm going to have my own booth at the upcoming trade show in Sydney.
What kind of booth, Dave? You're sitting there on the throne.
I'm gonna have my own booth at the electronics show in Sydney, and Yeah.
EX at the end, electronics, right?
Electronics with the EX.
I always get I'm like, I have to listen, and then I'm like, oh, the trade show, you mean? Okay.
Yep.
Right.
If you're
That's
confused,
cool.
I'm even more confused because we used to have an older show which had a very similar name, which has nothing to do with this new show, which that old one died away. And I always get the names mixed up. And so it's Electronics with an EX. Electronics.com.au. We'll put the link in, and that'll be fun. The promoters for the show want me to have a stand, and they want to promote me as being there and Dave doing something, maybe. I don't know. Haven't figured out what yet. So if you've got a good idea of what I can do in my booth, I don't know. Dance like a monkey, Dave. Yada, 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 yada.
Yeah. Throw 'em.
Boy, I don't know. What do I do? Live teardowns or something? Or,
I like the live teardown idea. I think that's good.
Live multimeter destruction, or I don't know.
You could set up like a booth, like in like the Peanuts comic, where it's like the like the doctor is in kind of thing, and then you could offer free advice on
free advice
off the cuff. And it's a nickel, right? That's what it is. And when
right,
is it Lucy
nickel,
that has a psychology booth or psychiatrist booth in Peanuts. So
you're telling the
you can
story.
do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Step right up with your project, and I'll call it shit personally. Oh boy. Live critiquing here on
Yeah.
Next, it has one of those big clock things, next show at 3 p.m.
Yeah. Like in SeaWorld or something.
Yeah, exactly. Next live
Throw
performance.
Dave a fish.
Oh, it'll either be a dismal fire or it'll be hilarious. I'm not sure which one.
Just bring your tomatoes, folks. You can rotten tomatoes. You can... You can set up one of those like dunk booths, like answer a question, or else you get to dunk Dave.
You can throw a multimeter and try and dunk me, Oh boy!
Oh, I like it. I like it.
The possibilities are endless. So please, if you've got any ideas, please jump on over to the discussion server.
That's right.
Sorry, did I get the name right?
No, you got it right. You got it right. Shit. So we'll have to start a thread or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
that'll be different. Something new to start with.
Right. Or if you're an EV blog forum member, just go there. Whatever.
Yeah, you can do that too. Right. So speaking of trade shows, I saw this story in Electronics Weekly this week. So there was the Canton Fair in China.
Yes.
And
it's huge, right?
It's unbelievably huge. They said, so what did they say here? The trade show had 210,000 buyers. So people that are at your companies, buying components, whatever else, they go to this thing because they're sourcing components from China because, everything comes from China. At this fair, though, 210,000 purchasing people were there.
Isn't the stat even more remarkable for the number of booths? It's like 50,000 or something. It's ridiculous.
That's amazing. Yeah. Right.
I'm sure they're very tiny booths. There's one person standing there with 10,000 reels behind them. Which component would you like, sir?
Right. Oh, man.
Oh, boy. Yep.
And apparently...
Because if you've seen those photos of the, of all those back alley electronics shops in, Shanghai and Akihabara and all those kind of places, those, if you've seen those booths, like those little shops, they're just, piled high with all these reels of components, there isn't any room to walk in there because they just stack so high with reels. It's incredible.
Yep. Yeah, and so you can go to we'll put the link in.
Purchase your dodgy part here.
Yeah, we'll put the link in, but and there's even 3 phases. That's how big it is. It's humongous. Yeah.
What phases?
There's 3 phases, just date-wise. So it says Phase 1, October 15th to 19th. Phase 2, October 23rd to 27th. And Phase 3 is October 31st to November 4th. And it's all in the same complex. Yeah. So you could still get... apparently, so this is coming up. I thought the articles made it seem like it was... it already happened, but that must have been the stats from last year. the 210,000 buyers. But
right,
man, that's crazy. And they said the stuff from Africa is up. Purchasing stuff from African continent is up 12% as well. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see some manufacturing move towards Africa.
12% I mean, with a bullet. Go Africa.
Hey, that's a lot, right? I mean, like, and you think about low cost countries. I mean, Asia is starting to get a lot more expensive, right? China's definitely moving up.
That's probably the next step. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's different areas within Asia, but they're always going to chase the low cost regions, and so I know like Western Europe, no Eastern Europe, sorry, backwards, like Eastern Europe, like Hungary, and a lot of those like those regions are definitely those are lower cost regions as well, and then I've heard about a lot of stuff moving to Africa as well. Yep. So
I actually heard that they were going to. Didn't somebody put a new? We're going to build a new fab in Africa or something, weren't they?
I didn't hear about where in Africa though. I thought you had told me that previously, but
I don't know. May I have to hunt down some info on that, but yeah. Well, they just won the SKA, didn't they? They won the square kilometre away. They beat out Australia, bastards.
Right. Yeah, certain things I wonder about though, because at least with fabs, you need a lot of water. So definitely the northern region. I mean, like depending on climate, right? I mean, but South Africa, there's a lot of. I mean, that's a very temperate climate, so I could see that. And I think there's a big tech area down there too, isn't there? Down in South Africa.
In South Africa, I think has a reasonable hub. Yeah.
I know a couple of people down there from online.
The breaking news from May, Taiwan's UMC says they're going to invest in a 12-inch wafer fab in, this is good, I should call up the link, $8 billion in Taiwan. No, fail. It's the first Google link. I thought I was getting lucky, right?
No, but we actually have a story on here about that. Not UMC, but actually TSMC, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. They're actually building their first 450 millimeter fab versus 300 millimeter fab, which is 12 inches. And they said $8 to $10 billion. It's probably that story you were talking about there. Actually, $8 to $10 billion. That's crazy.
Yep,
that's a crazy amount of money.
But that's what it takes to build a modern fab, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess it's all new equipment, though. I mean, that's 18 inches. That's an extra large pizza, man. That's like right. You can barely wrap your arms around the wafer. That's crazy. That's definitely no longer like the way people carry. They have like boxes usually for like 8-inch fabs, 6-inch fabs. They have little boxes with people carrying them. You can't carry a box like that anymore. You'd have to hire like burly people. You can't have
right.
Like in order to carry a box or just have less wafers in it, and then you have all the losses in time when you have to actually transport the boxes. Which means, I mean, it's all going to be robots anyways. But that means it basically reduces the ability to have anything other than robots at that size. So that's crazy.
And you have your chips in 30 minutes or it's free. Right? Hey, bloody hell. Yeah. Wikipedia has everything. There's a page for list of semiconductor fabrication plants. Go figure. Looks like everyone in the world. Well, they claim it's incomplete or something, but it's got, here it is. Intel have 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
They got 30
about 18 of them or something.
No, they got more than that.
Well,
they got tons of fabs.
That's what's in this list here. Anyway,
all right.
And all these major fabs and their it's got their process wafer size, when it was opened, how much it cost in billions, the wafer capacity per month. I don't see any,
which is a really
South
big
Africa.
deal.
Yeah, there's tons in Taiwan. Man, there's UMC are the big ones in Taiwan. TSMC are mostly Taiwan.
Yep.
They've got one in Shanghai, but mostly. And so Taiwan really are still probably the world leaders, are they, in chips? There you go. And there's a couple in Ireland.
Last time, I mean, TSMC and Intel, I think, trade foundry, or not foundry, but fab capacities.
Oh, right.
Every so
okay.
often. I think that's them too. And then Samsung is close behind, UMC behind that, I think.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot, right? It's it's a whole lot.
There's quite a lot in Singapore. There's at least 7 on this list from... How do they fit them? Have you ever been to Singapore?
It's not very
only
big.
30 kilometres across,
Yeah.
It's
That's
tiny.
got to be some expensive real estate.
Oh, man. Jeez,
Well,
where would they get all the water from? Because they import all their fresh
do they?
water. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Yes. Singapore import everything. Yeah. It's not good.
I guess you have to if you're a smaller company or country like that, huh?
Yep. Well, there's a tiny little island.
Speaking of Intel, we've talked about them before. They always win based on their fab capacity, right?
Yeah.
And they're already working on 9 nanometer geometries. They're already actually producing in I think at 22 nanometers. They actually have, or 28 maybe. No, 28 standard now.
Insane.
So they're down at 22 nanometers. So they're like way down there, right? They're they're pushing atoms around. But I saw this really kind of weird article. It was I'm not sure what the guy's position was. It was Mark Bell, the chief of mobile, right? So Intel's been they've been getting into mobile, but they're definitely late. And so it's an article from Extreme Tech, and it says they dismiss the x86 tax, meaning that something would cost more if they have an Intel processor in it, and it sees no future for ARM or any of its competitors. And all I can think is, this is going to be one of those quotes where they look back and 30 years, and they're like, how the hell did they say that? Right? I mean, even now it seems ridiculous.
I think maybe it's in context. Maybe it's within their own company. They see no future of ARM within Intel.
Well, of course not. I mean,
exactly.
He's saying that
there's nothing inherently wrong with it. There's nothing inherently stupid.
No.
With the
He's saying it, though,
case.
for all mobile. He's saying it like, oh, no, Intel is going to take over the mobile market.
Oh.
And all I can think is...
Well, he's got to. That's his job, right? He's got to sell his own dog food, right?
Right. Yeah, and that could definitely be it, right? I mean... But isn't it always best to be the first one in? I mean, like, didn't ARM already... I mean, like, Intel doesn't have any skin in the game right now. Like, they're pushing out their Medfield processor, which is what this guy's talking about. But and I don't really follow mobile that much, but I do know that I've never held a phone in my hand that's had an Intel processor in it, right? I don't know about you.
Nope.
And this whole article is about, these pretty slick phones, like Windows phones now that have this processor, but... If you're a chip company, even a big one like Intel, like saying that ARM isn't a competitor,
who currently have 85% of the market or something.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know.
They don't exist. Come on. Nah, not a problem.
I don't know, man. That sounds like Kodak saying, oh, we, like digital cameras are stupid. Even though, Kodak ended up looking at producing their own digital cameras.
This is why you're not the CEO, Chris. You're just not visionary
delusional
enough, right?
Delusional enough?
That's it.
I don't have my copy of the NBA playbook memorized.
That's right.
Oh my god. I mean, it's just like, I keep seeing this stuff over and over and over again, right? I mean, we see it with like Rigol, right, in the scope business. You see it with like car manufacturers, right? I just recently I started leasing a Kia this weekend, right? I mean, like these are companies that started small and they're working their way up from the bottom, just like every Chinese manufacturer's been doing and will continue to do and keep working up the value chain, right? And every time people are like, oh my God, where did they come from? We didn't see this coming. It's like, well, they came from the bottom and they worked their way up, just like everyone before them, right? It's
you
nothing
just
different here.
Them, you dickhead.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, like, I know it's business and I'm clueless about business, but you'd think one of them would be like, hey, this looks familiar.
This arm, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, I don't know, man.
Maybe that's a rule within the company. You don't mention the war and you don't mention ARM.
Yeah, it could be. Or maybe we'll see Intel selling all their stuff at surplus and in 5 years' time, which is actually a really old link we have on here. We should get off of here. Actually, Alvaro, one of the listeners, Alvaro, actually suggested this to us. He knows of this site called ti-usesemiconductorequipment.com, and you can actually go there and bid on like ashers and etchers and everything else. It's actually like, stuff from old TI fabs, and it's all listed there. It's crazy.
How much is it? Has it got a price on it, or is it like an auction thing?
I think they have prices here. Yeah.
How much is stuff going for?
Oh, no, that one doesn't have a price. Let's see. Maybe it is a... should have looked at this, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there are no... Maybe they're just listing this stuff. I'm sure, it's probably negotiable, right? I mean, like...
Yeah.
There can't be that many people in the market for this. There's, like, smaller fabs and then, like, Jerry, right? I mean, like...
Right, okay, that's the leap, is it?
That's mostly it, right? I mean, like, small startups, Jerry Ellsworth, and semiconductor people, and maybe like a lot of the times that a lot of solar manufacturers will end up buying old equipment because you can it's large geometry stuff,
similar process,
or you can see stuff, exactly, or you can see stuff where it's moving down the line. So like an old digital CMOS process will eventually become an analog process on chips, right? So. And actually, our guest last week, Steve Leapson, he ended up talking. I think that was the interview I mentioned. He actually talked to the TI vice president about that because it follows it. I think right now they're still on 180 nanometer, or maybe they're moving into 90 nanometer for all these analog processes, because you actually need to characterize them like really well in order to do analog stuff. So it's cool. I mean, like, so yeah, you buy old stuff. The equipment, you do these new models, and then you make analog chips, and then you make them really tiny, so you fit a lot on an 8-inch wafer or 6-inch wafer, and you're good to go.
Step right up, folks. Pennies on the dollar for...
That's right, yeah.
You start
you
your
never
own
know what
phablet.
you're going to get. Yeah.
All you need is some rented space, and sweet.
Yep. Man,
speaking of which, I was talking to Steve about this off air about this the other week, and he mentioned, like, how I've bought my office here, right? I've bought my lab, right? Apparently that's rare in Silicon Valley for actually someone to buy their own space. Apparently it's almost not possible.
Just because of cost?
Just because, I don't think that's what companies who build these office buildings do. I don't think they want to sell them. Whereas that's
you mean buy
different.
versus lease?
Yeah,
okay.
Buy versus lease.
Oh, interesting.
Have you got any idea? Is there anyone in Silicon Valley who can confirm that? And that's what most people do because, that's all that's available. Everyone leases. They don't buy, apparently.
No, I was surprised when you bought your space as well. I mean, I was surprised by that.
Okay.
Because, the commercial market is pretty lucrative. It used to be lucrative, for real estate. But,
okay.
Well,
it's just very common here. I mean, the rent is not much. It doesn't cost much more in the interest on the money than it does for the rent. So if you've got access to the money, you may as well buy it. But from what Steve was saying, you can't even buy them. You don't even have the choice, really, in Silicon Valley.
I bet that has something to do with tax law too. Like leases are better for depreciation or something like that.
Yep, could be a totally
business
different market.
Stuff.
So please, if you know about that sort of stuff, let us know.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
And is
to
it
know.
different in different parts of the, in different states in the US,
Well, yeah, usually you only see lease signs around, at least in Ohio, but usually I'm looking at, usually a drive-by retail space, so I've never looked for an office.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So speaking of... Since you're talking about starting up businesses and stuff like that, and since it's the end of the school year around here, you and I were talking about this before the show. The school year is a little bit different, at least as far as you recall, old man.
Yes, it is. Yeah, come on, it was 20 years ago, man. I don't remember this shit. Getting too old.
But yeah, there was some interesting stuff on our list about job seeking. One was actually one of our listeners, Cody, actually did a 555 business card. He actually printed this was all over the web. He posted up a couple of different places, but actually like a blinky business card to show.
Yep.
I
Every man
liked
and his dog's doing these. It's very popular. You always every couple of months you see a link to somebody's done their own little gadget business card or something.
Yeah. I remember the first one I saw was you could break off the tabs and you could plug in it. It had like the four edge cards.
Yep.
That definitely that was crazy to me when I first saw that.
And it had their resume embedded on the chip in there, and you plug it in as a USB, stick basically. So break it off the card.
Yeah, that was bonkers. But this one's cool too. I mean, it was great. I just always wonder about the cost of it, because you think about just PCB space, right? I mean, like, So like our buddy Lane, who does he used to do the PCB Dorkbot, the purple PCBs that everybody knows about. He actually switched his company over. It's now Open Source Hardware Park.
Cool.
So it's actually like a commercial site now, and but like his is like $5 for a square inch, and you figure a business card is probably 5-6 square inches. So you only get 3 of those. I mean, maybe if you're doing higher volume, but
if you do 100, like, because I get constantly spammed by all these PCB companies in China, and some of them do actually send their price
Dear
through.
sir, I would like to, they always have like the same
we're
cadence
happy,
to them.
lucky, wonderful PCB Co.
I would like to offer you plastic injection molding, PCB services, and I don't know what else.
but the prices are incredible. They're like quoting like 6 cents per inch or something.
Really?
Per square inch, like 6 cents, from 4 to 6 cents plus $100.
Like
tooling. Also, setup. So as long as you do the setup, the board itself is almost free. It's just crazy.
That is pretty
Madness.
crazy. Yeah, I guess if you got time to wait too. I mean, that's the main thing. So, it's usually that trade-off.
They're claiming 3-4 days turnaround
really?
as well.
Oh.
Yeah, it's madness.
Yeah, we should sign up for happy-go-lucky PCB services.
Wonderful PCB Co.
Well, happy, wonderful, super awesome. That'd be a fun job just to come up with those names over in China.
I know. Oh boy!
I started a startup incubator in China just so I could make names for people.
Right.
Plus, I never have to spell check any of my documents. It's great. Oh, it's fun.
Oh boy! But they're so cheap, It's But you've got that little minimum hurdle to do the setup usually. But once you do the setup, you can probably churn these things out quite cheaply, and then you'd have to hand assemble them. Of course, you wouldn't sort of pay setup for a screen and get them run through a professional manufacturer or anything. So you'd have to carefully hand assemble each one, I would guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you want to spend $500 and you want to, get 100 boards.
I saw him write. I saw Cody write something somewhere about it. He said, I think he said it was a couple bucks per board or something like that. So it wasn't too bad, but that's still a lot for business cards. You can get a box of business cards for like $10 now, right? I mean, or free if you want Instaprint on the back or whatever it is, or Vistaprint.
Right. Okay.
And so I mean, it's a disparity in cost, but as he said, it's like it's an investment, right? I mean, if you do get a job from it, who gives a crap?
It's nothing. Yeah, that's right.
So
it could be worth spending a couple $100 to get these things manufactured.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like you always say too about job seeking and stuff, and walking into an interview with your projects. I mean, that's a good start.
That's another huge wow factor. Yeah, look, I laid out this board. It's it's 0. And then you can talk about it. It's 0.8 millimeters. It's it's high temperature FR4, a certain grade. It's got and you can talk about the whole thing. And bang, that's really going to put you up the list.
Oh yeah, and even better here. I mean, you can do it at a job fair or something like that too. So that's really good.
Yep.
So one of the writers, I write over at Engineer Blogs too, and actually Fluxer, one of the writers over there, he's in China now. He's been documenting his move to China, and he actually was talking about his interview process too. And I thought that was interesting because he talks about it, right? He's hiring for this really high-end, RF company. He does like RF stuff, and he's a manager now. And he just asks about an RC circuit, and it's brilliant. It's just and like there's always that weed out question whenever you get into an interview, right? And a lot of times you'll just get people, he said master's students, PhD students. It's an RC, and then he draws a waveform, and he puts it in at different points, and you can go see it. It's great. I mean, he puts it in at different points, and then you just ask ask people to draw the output, and it's simple. It's like so simple that I think sometimes people think they're getting tricked, but it's a great question to ask, and that's the same kind of questions I'm asking when I'm doing interviews because
Same here. That's what I've always said. I've said it in my job interview videos. That's what I ask. I ask incredibly simple questions. They're not difficult at all. It just weeds out the dickheads.
Yep. The tough part with that, and I think maybe we've talked about that on here before, but the tough part with that is if they don't get that question, what do you do for the rest of the half hour you have allotted or whatever?
Well, I quickly herd them out the door, I quickly shoo them out the door. Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. But, I can understand the nerves thing. Some people get very, they're not persons.
People,
correct. Yeah, exactly. I was about to say that, and I thought, no, that's wrong. And they get very nervous, and that's fine. And that's why I talk them through it, and I, do other things and make them feel at ease. And, look, there's no right or wrong, answer. Just tell me about
Unless you're wrong.
In
that case, you're really wrong.
No, well, I move on to another question where, tell me about something where there is no right or wrong. I hand them a board, and there is no right or wrong answer. Just tell me what you see, and surely you can tell me something about the board, you know.
One thing I always like, too, is trying to squeeze out and this one's kind of tricky, too, but like from the interviewing side, like if you can try and figure out, like they always ask you questions, right, at the end, and if you can try and figure out what they're working on currently, if they'll tell you, like sometimes they'll be like, oh, I can't really tell you about it. But if they tell you about what that is, then you can ask them what the problems are, and then if you can actually like say something you've done in relation to that, and how you've actually solved a problem like that before, that kind of stuff is like A+ #1 kind of stuff there, I think. Because if if people are saying, oh, we're having trouble with our with leakage on our PCBs, and then you say, oh, well, I used to run a board cleaner, or I know a lot about flux removal, that kind of stuff. Like if you know that stuff. Or if you can, tease it out of them and then do it, that's some killer stuff right there, I think. So,
I've been to many job interviews where they've actually asked me troubleshooting questions because they've had a real, they've currently got a real problem and they haven't been able to solve it, and they just go, "Have you got any idea?
Please help us."
Yeah, exactly.
I've done that. I've asked that too. I mean,
Yeah.
Clueless.
And we start measuring things and we start investigating it, and that's part of the job interview,
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Boy, I got a new ebook reader. Nothing.
Yeah.
No surprise there, right? I like ebook readers, but it's a heap of shit. But the reason I bought it is because it's $30. Australian,
$30.
Right? $30 Australian comes in that's retail, right? At the local Dick Smith store. Right, in a nice pack, a nice big plastic form package. I'm going to do a video of it, I'll do a teardown. And it's got a 7-inch colour TFT screen on it.
That's bonkers.
For $30 retail. It's got built-in couple of gig of memory, so it's got the SD card and it plays video and, apparently I haven't used it yet, haven't even opened it.
Oh, okay, so it's not like an e-ink, right? It's actually
No, it's not an e-ink. It's a TFT.
Right? Yeah.
It's a colour TFT, so it's only got 7 hours battery life or something. And
so why do they call it an e-book reader then?
Because it reads
e-books.
Yeah,
but you can play video on it. It's like a Kindle Fire ripoff, right?
It's like a Kindle Fire ripoff. Yeah, well, it's not a touch. It's not a touch thing. It's got a keypad.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's got a freaking colour 7-inch TFT screen. It's got to have a polymer battery in there to get your I think that's one area where they're going to skip cost. They're probably shipping toxic waste out of the country in these batteries. So I expect that to last a couple of years.
There's old socks in there that are somehow have a capacitive effect.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh man! So I expect it to be an absolute shocker, and it's purple, by the way.
Oh, fancy! Yeah. Do you have a picture of it? Because we could post that.
Oh, yeah, probably. I can take one.
Yeah, you take a picture, right? Yeah.
All right. Huh. Oh, it's at the lab. I have to go there later. Okay. Anyway, but it's a $30 retail, right? And
that's bonkers.
I know.
What about
it's crazy.
Like Bluetooth, anything like that? I mean,
no, it's got no wireless. I don't think it has wireless capability. I think it's just a dumbass SD card. Stick your files in, and it plays them. Audio, video, ebooks.
Does it run Android or what?
No, it's just it runs its own thing,
Okay.
It probably doesn't even run an OS. It's probably just so dumbass because they're using the
Superloop
cheapest
kinda?
processor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm thinking about with this is my whole argument about like not installing screens on scopes or test equipment now, and just buying like $30. That is starting to that's a commercial price, right? So you could probably buy that. That's retail. You could probably buy that thing for $10 on the streets of Shanghai, right?
Yeah, of
and
course.
at that point, granted, you couldn't source that for more than a month or two because you know that their suppliers are changing every month.
They're gone. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, and but at $10, right? I mean, like that's an assembly, right? I mean, you're buying a sub-assembly at that point. And even though it's probably a piece of crap, I mean, you could abstract that out, right? I mean, if you
could take the screen out, you could do whatever, you could.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, man. That's why I've always said it, because those things are so cheap. I mean, you'd have to have a decent supplier, which is probably an oxymoron there, but
But you said it yourself. They make one run and then they run, right? So you're screwed. So you can't possibly make a commercial solution out of it.
Well, you'd have to know some people over there, right? I mean, like Bunny knows, he's got people, right? I mean, like he has
but
regular.
Even then, they're just gonna bugger off. They're just gonna go.
I guess
to their
it might be hard to find people.
Novelty toy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's madness.
I don't know though. I still like the idea. I still like the idea of abstracting over some kind of interface. I'd like Bluetooth better, right? But like even USB, if you had some kind of standard interface, then you just got to reprogram the screen each time and you keep sourcing those $10 tablets, and man, that's
but how do you write the app on there? Then it's got to be a standardized OS. It's got to be this or that.
Yeah.
It's got to be, it's
I didn't say it would be high quality. I didn't say it would be high quality.
Ah, boy, paint yourself into a corner again.
Yeah, well, whatever.
You'll be making chips next.
100 more episodes of that until we're to 200, right? 100 episodes of me painting myself into corners.
Have we filled out our bingo sheet for this episode?
Yeah. Oh, no. Are we there?
No,
we're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
You mean time-wise? We're not there time-wise yet.
No,
we got tons of stuff. Bingo-wise, I mean, I can mention printable chips if you want. I mean, we've already talked about buying chip equipment. I'm sure there's a printer.
I already laughed at you for doing that, so that's a tick.
That's
fine.
There we go. All right. All right. I don't know if anyone's still playing Amp Hour Bingo. I don't think they are.
Right. Oh, boy.
So, speak.
No, go.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, please. After you, age before beauty.
Oh, boy. I don't know. I've seen those sideburns, dude.
Oh, those are gone.
Oh, they're gone, are they?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I just wanted to have a little rant about this. It made the news. It did the rounds. It's on CNBC about this. Hackers have added backdoor to FPGAs that are used in military applications, and they made a big to-do about it, right? And it's probably gone to Congress, and they've probably got some funding to fix it, and I don't know. Who knows, right? Because the Yanks go crazy over this shit, right?
Yeah.
And
as a Yank, I can say yes.
Yeah, exactly, right? And it's the biggest load of bullshit article you've ever read. It's like, oh, yeah, hackers can push a button and bring down American missiles, Give me a break. Yeah. Unbelievable. To do that is, the amount of, it's ridiculous. The amount of engineering you have to engineer into the product to be able to bring down said missile. With this back door, it's not like it just magically happens. Somebody magically pushes a button. There's a magical wireless interface to the missile, and then there's magic circuitry in there, which magically causes the thing to explode. Give me a break.
It's like maybe if you disassemble the missile, get to the circuit board in question, and then you finally find that 100 mil spaced header where you can actually reprogram the FPGA. Then there's a backdoor, right?
Give me a break.
Yeah.
And it's
your first mistake is reading a technical article on CNBC.com, right? I mean, this is
exactly.
This is big money news site, right? So
right. And then it's like, and then they always say, we'll never be able to find out who did it. What? You want to know what technology is involved in someone at the Actel factory? Hello, you know what technology is involved in actually adding a back door to an FPGA mask? You know,
Right.
it's really advanced shit. It would require a team of people with access at the absolute lowest possible levels. You know, it's not like some dodgy production operator who's a secret agent can just, you know, slip a bit of powder in the, you know, in the mix and, you know, as he walks
Right,
by.
exactly.
Right?
Don't worry,
Come
sir.
on.
We have men on the inside. They're simulating everything every day. They're putting in the powder.
Gee, it's just ridiculous. Unbelievable.
And they're playing up this China role too, right? They're like, it's
exactly.
manufactured in China. It's
China.
like, well,
So therefore China are spying on us and adding backdoors to every product the US makes, you know. And,
yeah, I mean that. Yeah,
give me a break.
This is a lot of sensationalism, I'm sure, but
100%. So retarded, it really is.
I guess I'll have to stop adding those headers, the wireless headers, right?
Right, yeah.
With some NSA chip that I just happened to find, right? Just
Unbelievable. Anyway, end rant. What a joke.
No, that's a good. I mean, it's just another example of, I mean, not really, media
they don't
not understand
the technology. Yeah, they don't understand what's actually involved to do this shit. So, you know.
Right.
So they just extrapolate it, you know, and just instantly come to the conclusion that a hacker can bring down a missile, you know.
Right. That's kind
out.
of crazy talk.
And as if you couldn't find a person who did it. Give me even if it was added. Somehow.
Right.
As if you know, like, it's not like you have people wandering off the street, sitting there at the CAD terminal changing your mask for your bloody FPGAs. Give me a break.
Right. It's not like you're doing it after testing, right? I mean, once you get into verification, you're not like changing it all then, because then all your tests won't pass after that, right? I mean, like, it's yeah. That's crazy.
Poor Actel, actually, they've had to come out and say, no, it's all bullshit. You know, there is no backdoor. It's just some old test code. You know, that has been disabled. You know, it's like, geez, no mystery involved.
Well, speaking of the media not understanding technology, here's some example of this media, as in the Amp Hour, as in Chris, not understanding how in the hell Texas Instruments is doing this. So, they're talking about doing through silicon vias. Do you know what those are?
Yes, they're vias inside
vias
silicon.
through silicon, right? Yeah,
through silicon. Yeah,
right.
So that's how they make chips, right? They can go from layer to layer.
No. This is actually from piece of silicon to piece of silicon, right? So this is all the way through. So usually, if you look at like a piece of silicon, right, if it's as tall as a skyscraper, right, the chip's actually done on the top floor, right? I mean, you're implanting stuff, and it's actually not that deep compared to the thickness of the wafer. Just because if you tried to have as thin a wafer as you actually needed, it would just immediately shatter. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's all this dead space basically. As far as I understand it, maybe I'm wrong
dead space.
Yes. Vertical, yeah, exactly. And so a through silicon via is this thing. So they're trying to stack chips on top of one another now. So
okay.
So we've talked about different system on chip packaging where you put different pieces of silicon in a package and you wire them all together. Well, what they want to do now is, instead of doing the flip chip like they do also, right, where sometimes they put the pads on the top and then they kind of flip them over and smush them together. Now what they want to do is stack silicon, multi-chips high. And the only way you can do that is with the VIA, right? The same kind of way they do with the PCB. Well, they're talking about doing this stuff at 28 nanometers now, right? So they're at the 28 nanometer node, but they're talking about
one heck of a small drill, right?
Oh my god, it's unbelievable, right? And I think they have to do it chemically, but it's just because I think they have to do it chemically. But if you look at like the geometry of it, I was trying to like compare it in my head, and I think it'd be like drilling an oil well, like many thousands of meters down, and then like comparing, like talking down, like dropping a can with a string all the way down to the person at the bottom, right? And then that seems like the same kind of scale it would be. And I'm boggled by how the hell this works. It's insane, like the fact that they're doing this now, and apparently this is like the new big thing. So that's how they're gonna stack them all together.
I thought they were already doing this. I thought it was not mature technology, but they were sort of already stacking these chips up.
Maybe. I don't know of any so far, but that doesn't really mean much.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, it's It's bonkers stuff though. People should check it out. It's really cool stuff. I think. I mean, like, but just if you look at like just the scale of it, right? I mean, like there's a lot of stuff out there like comparing scale of the universe stuff type like scale, right? Mm-hmm. Comparing people to how big the universe is and everything, but going in the other direction too, right? That stuff is just really cool, I think. And then having to deal with getting from 28 nanometer gate width transistors, and then having to drive enough current and everything to actually then talk down. I mean, you're going to keep stepping up the current as you go along, right? If you're actually trying to talk down through the silicon, but just the scale necessary is bonkers. It's just absolutely bonkers.
I gave an example of that in my recent order of magnitude video. If you've seen,
I skipped that one. Sorry.
Oh, right. Right, just one of my Keithley test instruments I've got, right, which goes for... Yay. Well, no, sorry, two of my Keithley test instruments, right, which I can generate a voltage anywhere which is the equivalent of a 1 millimeter resolution from the Sun to Saturn, right? That one in that those instruments just sitting on my bench, right, can generate the resolution, 1 millimeter resolution from the Sun right out to Saturn, or is it further? I don't know. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
When you actually
that's the same kind of thing I'm talking about.
The scale of it.
That's bonkers.
It's like 12 orders of magnitude or something.
Yeah.
It's just it's nuts.
It's mind-boggling. Yeah, and I was looking at the same kind of thing too, because I was looking at this high voltage project, and then we're controlling it with like 3.3 type I/O, and then like the core of the thing that we're running it on. Like cores these days are like 0.9 volts, right? And you look at that's just 2 orders of magnitude, but you'd think about the difference in power, right? I mean, you're controlling relays that are switching power or huge amounts of power, right?
Power, yep.
Like a 9-volt signal. That's crazy, right? I mean, like all the logic is running at 9 volts, and then you're just keep stepping it up. That's bonkers. That's like magic, right? Or as I said before, that's some Harry Potter shit right there.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Do we have a chip of the week?
Oh, we do. Oh, crap. I meant to get to that. Where is it? Ooh, okay. I like this one too.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of flipping bits and everything crazy, right? So I was at this power symposium for TI, and they told me about this new driver for buck converters, right? So you've gone over buck converters and stuff like that on your blog before, and we've talked about them on here. But one thing that I'm really excited about is gallium nitride, and that's another thing we mentioned on here before. This like really high temperature, really fast switching speed material. It's this new one. It's like when we talked to John Edmond from Cree, they're actually working on gallium nitride because that's one of the main components of blue/white LEDs, right? And that's grown on top of silicon carbide. Yada 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 yada. Okay, so it's actually they're really cool, right? And like they're making MOSFETs now to actually do it, like N-type MOSFETs. I think Cree is even doing that, and there's a couple others that are doing that. Yep. And they're super expensive, but like for the application, they're really great. But the thing that's crazy is they're really fragile, like supremely fragile.
As in physically or electrically fragile?
Electrically fragile. Yeah,
electrically fragile.
The VGS on a gallium nitride FET is only 1 to 1.5 volts, which is good, right? Unless you're switching. You can switch 1,200 volts with these things because they're used in like with inverters and stuff like that for like solar cells, right? Yep. And so you have to be really careful because you can just slam these things on, and then you burn up your parts, even though it's like a really low on resistance through the GaN, through the drain source. Like you can really break these things easily, and you can't go over. And that's the other crazy thing: you can't go over 6 volts on the gate. If you go over 6 volts, I think you actually break down the oxide because it's a metal oxide semiconductor, right? A MOSFET. I guess does that still count for GaN? I don't know if it does. I think it does.
No idea.
But anyways, you can't go above 6 volts, right? So that's another thing. And then turning them off, the capacitance, like the forward capacitance on those things, like so turning them on is really easy. It's like flipping a light switch. That's how easy it is versus a lot of like the power FETs. So that's another thing that's out there. There's a lot of silicon FETs
that are hard to drive because they're massive capacitance inputs.
Right, exactly, because the gates are huge. They're just like just arrays of these gates that are all paralleled. And so these things are actually really easy to turn on. The GaN ones are. But the crazy thing is, it's really hard to turn them off. The reverse capacitance is really bad still. So all of this stuff, basically, TI now made this specialized chip for that. It's called LM5113, and it actually lets you do this stuff. I mean, it basically you can, if you have these specialized situations where you need a GAN FET for like high temperature, so like borehole kind of stuff, if you're drilling oil wells, or if you're solar cell inverter stuff. So they actually have a controller for this now.
And why wouldn't you use it? Why would you roll your own and learn all, and go through all the mistakes of blowing up these things? Because they're expensive devices, right? So
GAN FETs
so
are
you
like,
can afford a driver chip to drive them.
Yeah, yeah. And they're really expensive. So yeah, I don't know.
Sweet.
Yeah, so they're great. And
so
it's kind of like
driver chip. It's the chip of the week.
Yeah, FET driver chip LM5113. It reminds me like when when new features roll out for like computers, like when USB rolled out, USB 3.0 rolled out, and when they had PCI Express rolling out, and it's really like it's the beginning of the cycle, right? As more people come online, it'll become more integrated, but for now, it's just the ones who really need it. So, if you need it, you'll pay for it.
Of course.
And if you're paying for these FETs at $20 a pop or whatever they are,
then you're going to buy the chip to drive them. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Because who wants to engineer? As an engineer, you don't want to dick around and take the risk of, these things blowing up in the field or something like that.
Right.
If somebody like a huge player like TI has done all the hard work, why would you reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, that's a really hard sell when your boss comes to you and he's like, so another unit blew up in the field, and we know it's because of your circuit. Yeah. And why didn't you use that TI part or LT part or whoever else, right? I mean, there's... I mean, there are reasons to roll your own, but if you're responsible for stuff, sometimes it is better to, from a system side, just to...
The engineered solution,
move on, yep.
Well, that is engineering, right? It is, building on the work of others, using available parts. We don't build everything out of, RCs and Ds anymore, it's just, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to use this stuff like this. It's the best solution. Somebody's done all the proper engineering. It's guaranteed, and that can count for big time when something's guaranteed, because then it doesn't come and bite you on your ass. At least, you use the right solution.
Definitely.
Oh.
All right,
we should probably... folks. That's what it's all about in engineering.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
Well, it can be, You've that can be a big deal. That can be a big design requirement, is that I need to cover my ass, because if this thing fails, it's all on me. I'm the poor designer. I'm the guy who has to actually check my own shit as well. I've got to do my own verification testing on my, I've got to eat and test my own dog food. Great.
Yep. And you'll never say that anyone else's is better.
And of course, we all know that doesn't work, right? When you, when you check your own stuff, right? You're the worst possible person to check your own stuff. So, nope. You want to engineer a nice, safe solution in there to begin with. Guaranteed.
Definitely.
We'll leave you on that thought.
We should leave reminders to people. Discuss.theamphour.com is the new discussion server.
Oh, it's got its own subdomain, does it?
Oh, it does, yes.
Oh, we're pulling out all the stops here, folks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't think I didn't spend my entire Saturday trying to figure that one out. IT person, I am not.
Oh, goodness.
All right, well, to 100 more episodes.
Cheers.
See you next week.
Bye. Should we insert like a party popper sound, like the crowd cheering or something like that?
Yeah, we could try and do that. We could I could stop the theme song mid or maybe right before we cut into the theme song. I can put that in.
Yeah.
Or we can have Sagan cheering like that.
Right. Whatever. Oh boy. Anyway, let's go.